Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, everywhere. There's going to be a live version of this going. If I can get this to stand up, that would be great, huh? Yeah, there we go. All right, welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson, and welcome aboard. Don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here, and enjoy the ride. Today, the title says "Tired." I've been up since about 1:20, I guess. That's when the animals started getting around for whatever reason. And you know, it's never a fun time whenever they want to get up a little earlier than normal. And we're talking about since I homestead, we have pigs, we've got dogs, we've got cats, all that good stuff, especially mousers. For all the grains and stuff that we carry around the house. And they're great to have around. So, welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. Here we talk about horror movies, sci-fi movies, comic book artwork, comic books in general, my comic book artwork, my artwork in general, and my comic book works that I'm working on prior now. So, with all of that being said, I'm working on 3 commissions right now for Christmas presents. I'm probably going to do one more in the mix, just because I can. But we're just having fun. This is the end of the year. This is when you're getting everything out and about. And I was informed that 2 of my commissions made it safely to their destination. He just hasn't picked them up yet to look them over. So hopefully he gets to do that pretty soon. I think he was said he wasn't going to be able to do that until Friday to be able to pick it up. But he's got them and they're safe, sound, and in hand. The artwork is there for him. So again, don't forget to like, share, and follow as you arrive and get in here. And again, working on commissions right now. All right, so I did a little something something for myself. You know, you do that from time to time, and when we get older, we just buy the shit we want, and you know, it makes it hard for people for Christmas and birthdays and stuff like that because we've already got the stuff we want. you know, and we don't really need anything. But I thought this was cool. I was disappointed in how it was packaged for shipping, um, because it was in a crappy uh, little paper box or paper, not even a box. It was just like a paper mailer, is what it was. And so, you want things to be a little bit on the pristine side whenever you get them in. And that's not what happened here. So it's the mini communicator, light and sound communicator from Star Trek. This is it right here. you know. And as you look, you can see how bent up the box is. And if you look on that little edge right there, you can definitely see the right there because it was smashed a little bit. Um, Bottom as well, you know. So being a collector's item, you want it to be, in pristine shape. I'm showing everybody the box condition that it came in. I mean, it's not horrible, but resale value now is $5, if I were to resell it, which I'm not going to. But here it is, the mini communicator right there. You can see just like you could in the original large version, you know, right there. Now, this does not make the sound as they did in the TV show when it opened up, which I wish it would, but it does not. But it does have your, as you can hear right there, very weak sound. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but I can through there. And then you gotta tap on that just a little bit. I gotta replace the bat or set the batteries back in there. There we go. And you can see the lights lighting up on there. And there you go. So it's just a fun little novelty piece. Read me up, Scotty. And it comes with this cool little booklet as well that walks you through, the history of the communicator and all that stuff. And I'm not gonna bend it open because It is a 40+ page booklet, again, that talks about the history of the communicator, when they first showed the communicator and all that stuff. So that's just a fun little novelty item, being a Trekkie. And I know I don't do the cosplay and Trekkie and all that good stuff, but there's no issues with that or anybody that does, you know. And this is the little plastic that it came in, kind of like a McDonald's bag for your McDonald's toys. It comes in every possible language known to man on here. Not really, just a few right there. You can see just a few, just a few. So that's just a fun little novelty piece I picked up for myself. A mini communicator, because if it's in my hand, you can't really see it, at all. Whereas in the original, you would be able to see it sticking out, from the top of my hand and the bottom of my hand at the same time. So there you go. But yeah, no, that's just a fun little novelty piece right there, as well as just little things that you do for yourself. And now, what's going on with you guys out there? How is things going? I'm surprised Roy hasn't jumped over here because he's awake. I know he is, and I know Casey said he possibly wouldn't make it this morning, but that's a few of my regulars. Mr. Nice Guy isn't here. Uh, Derek isn't here. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's a lot of people that are usually here that aren't here to this morning right now, but maybe they'll show up in a little bit. But welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. Again, I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson. And you see I got a lot of paints in front of me because that's the commissions that I'm working on. Requires a lot of different colors. Again, already got two finished, and I'm working on the third one and almost got it finished and should be able to hand it off to them tomorrow. Um, I'm hoping. I'm hoping I get it finished the rest of the day out, and go from there with it. But yeah, now if you are interested in that type of stuff, just hit me up, and we'll see if we get a restriction for that, as we normally tend to do here lately. Whenever I start talking about artwork, especially my artwork, TikTok is a little stickler. If you're not in their TikTok shop, then they try to restrict your view. So, but again, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody stopping in, checking in, and being here with us this morning. We go live every other day. Try to be at 4:12 in the morning, hence the name 412 Productions right there. And if you can kind of see it right here off to my right there, that little poster section right there. That is the last poster that my son and my nephew purchased for me back in 2008 Christmas, I believe is when it was. I think it was for Christmas. It is a Wolverine poster back there. And then in 2009, if you've been on my show before, my son passed away. And so that was the last gift that he gave me. So it's a very sentimental piece back there. And, you know, that is irreplaceable for me, uh, just because, again, that was the last gift that he gifted me at the time before his passing. And, he didn't get to fulfill life as he wanted to. He lived a good life, and he lived a passionate life, if you will, for friends and for life itself. He lived life to the fullest, daredevil extreme. But you know, some things are just out of our control. You know, and there you go. So that's why it's in here now, because I don't want it to get destroyed, as the dogs seem to be doing with everything in the front room at this point in time, including my floor. So I got this out of harm's way and brought it in here. I've got to straighten it up and all that good stuff. But this is the Wolverine piece in question right there. Yes, you can see my trash bag back there. I don't care. I gotta take it out. But that is the last thing my son gifted me. Right there, that Wolverine piece, that Wolverine poster. So it will be adorned in here from now on, and go from there. We'll just angle this a little bit so we can see me a little better. Yeah. And are you all ready for Christmas? You got all your Christmas stuff bought up under the tree. I couldn't even put a tree up this year. Sad. Sad. I don't even have my Christmas tree in here. And here it is. Exactly almost 1 week to the day of Christmas. Because today is the 17th and Christmas is just a few days away. So hopefully you do have everything ready for Christmas. I've got some things still coming in for Christmas presents. And, you know, it, it just doesn't feel like Christmas this year. And I don't know why. Um, it's been a good year, for the most part. And I'm just trying to, it just doesn't feel like Christmas. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way out there or not, but it's Christmas just doesn't feel like Christmas time in reality. And it could be, we're here in the south section of the world, and we don't get a lot of snow and things of that nature right here in the Fort Smith area of Arkansas, and so and then it's just blasé. Christmas is oversaturated with, well, it's all about the gifts. It's not about your family. It's not about this. It's about, well, what do you get me this year? And welcome to the broadcast booth finally, Mr. Roy, Joe, Radley, Twinkle Toes, Sparkle Butt, Twilight Lover Jr. Welcome to the show. About time you show up. 20 minutes late. Technically just 15, but whatever. We'll take it. You been up all night? Are you ready for Christmas? You're going to be spending it with your sister? Yes, I'm talking to you, Roy. I'm ready. Had to get my Pop Tarts and Gatorade. It's a good combination. Does it have ketchup on it or mayonnaise? Roy, what'd you get yourself for Christmas? Do you know what your sister's getting you for Christmas? Are you doing anything with your sister and her man? No, been up since a little before midnight. No, very cool. Very cool. I was up at 9:45, and then I was up again at 1:20, and then basically couldn't go back to sleep. And then animals got up again. They were restless last night, so I haven't been much of a sleep myself. So I think maybe I got about an hour and a half, 2 hours of sleep last night. So there you go. Oh, let's see here. So lots of commissions are coming in and going out. Just gonna be watching some football. Oh, there's football on Christmas. Yes, I know there's football on Christmas. Nobody gets a day off for Christmas or Thanksgiving when it comes to sports. You know, instead of being at home with their families, no, let's go play some football so we can entertain the United States of America and around the world. Yeah, they should have the day off too. And let's see here. Now, again, lots of commissions in, lots of commissions going out. Working on a 3-book deal for a novel for some cover work, and so that's exciting. And I showed that off, and And I showed that off show, the last show we were here live. And so I'm looking forward to that one. It's going to be exciting. I'm transferring those over to paintings. I'm doing preliminary artwork for the author, and so that's exciting times, especially when it turns into a multi-book deal. And, and not my Razorbacks. I don't even claim that piece of junk or piece of shit, I should say. The only Razorback I accept is in barbecue form. That is it. Uh, So I'm glad your piece of shit team is doing good for that. Uh, and yes, they will always be a piece of shit to me because, being an OU fan and how we slaughtered them every year in football until they decided, oh, we got to jump to the SEC, you know? Yeah, they're about to fall. Don't worry. They won't last at the number 14 spot. So, congratulations. But when Oklahoma Sooners used to destroy the Arkansas Razorbacks, you know, on a regular basis, and they had to jump ship to another division to get away from the slaughter from OU, that's pretty cool. I think we've got the all-time winning record over your piece of barbecue. You know, and so don't be saying that they're my team because I will never claim a shit barbecue team. Sorry. Even if I live in Arkansas, that does not make me an Arkansas year or whatever. Oh, it's Arkansan. That's what it is. Arkansan is what you are. And, I'm Oklahoma through and through, bud. It doesn't matter where I live, I will always be an Oklahoman. An Okie, and not from Muskogee. So there you go. And, here in Arkansas, there's a lot of true rumors about, the brother and sister thing. So, congratulations, Roy. You being a true Arkansas native. Congratulations on that note. Ah, and everybody knows what I'm talking about out there, so it's all good. But no, Arkansas will never be a team I ever root for. So there you go. As my closet proves, there is not a thing that says Arkansas in my closet. Period. Just like the Dallas Sooners and the the Oklahoma Cowboys. You know, if you go with the Dallas Cowboys, because they have a lot of Oklahoma Sooners on their roster and absolutely no Arkansans on the roster. So there you go, Roy. There's your piece of trivia knowledge for yourself. So, and I know you love it that there's that many Sooners on the roster. All right. So, did anybody get any sleep last night? Those of you that are sticking around and watching the show, like I said, I got about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of sleep last night. And yes, I'm a fully functioning adult right now, if you want to call it that. So, but no, I'm looking forward to Christmas, but I'm not looking forward to Christmas because it just seems a little lackluster this year. Um, and I know it's not about the gifts and all that stuff. It's about the whole, you know, joy of being together with family and stuff like that. And but it doesn't feel like Christmas because I couldn't put a Christmas tree up. Last year we put a Christmas tree up, I think, and this year we didn't because we got the new pup, who is an 80-pound pup. You know, he's a um, border collie, uh, golden retriever mix. He's got some beautiful colors, but he would have the tree destroyed in a heartbeat. The pigs would too, uh, and then the cats would definitely play with anything that's hanging off the lower level. And again, I didn't even put up my tree in here yet. Maybe I'll pull that out and get that a little festive in here, uh, just because you know it just doesn't feel like Christmas. And and maybe it's only because I don't have the Christmas tree up, which is a pagan thing. I get it. And for those of you that are, you know, the big religious side of things and enjoy your Christmas time. It is a pagan religion, so um, and we're not going to go into that whole can of worms. So, but I appreciate the little badges and gifts and stuff that you guys are throwing in, the likes and all of that goody good stuff. That helps out the broadcast show, puts us in that popular level of rankings and the popular live section. But and also, not only am I doing this 3 book deal with an author, I've already done one book that I'm hoping. I'm surprised it's not out on Amazon already, but I'll have to talk to him about it to see where it's at. Um, but I've already got another one done, front, back, and spine, of a children's book telling the life story of a friend of mine who's a boxer, and so and eventually we'll be doing the interiors, uh, hopefully. And again, that one is a 3 piece book as well. So we're hoping to get all of that lined up in the future. And then again, this new novel that I'm working on will be transferred over to canvas in a painting form. And then all these other pieces that I've got going out for Christmas presents for another friend of mine. It's just, lots of stuff happening. And so can't complain on that end. And I'm enjoying it. Excuse me. But on the same note and token, it keeps me away from my projects, my own stuff, which is fine. And then I've got to get back on the type pencils for my 8 page comic book that I'm working on for Legacy Comics with Patrick Hickey Jr., the writer thereof and creator of the whole series of Condry, Man's Best Friend, and just Condry universe in general. Um, that one is heavy in the Frank Miller style, so be looking for that one to come out. I believe it's a push date for March of next year. Is when it's coming out. Basically, what it is a filler story that fills in the life of Condry, this main character in the book, uh, from parts of his life that you don't get to see. Uh, and it just fills in the story gaps. And he's got another story, Christmas story out right now, or getting ready to be out right now, that fills in gaps as well. So be on the lookout for that. And if you want to go check that out, you can check that stuff out at Legacy Comics uh, out there. And Legacy Comics is with an X instead of a C. So you've got that to look forward to. You can also pick up the Job 3 book while you're there, right here. Bum, bum, bum. Or snag it right here. Let's see if that gets me restricted. But this is the painted cover I did for Legacy Comics, um, which, again, Legacy Comics is right down here. I'll put it up close. As you can see, Legacy Comics with an X. And yes, this is a variant edition of that book, The Job number 3. And then, if you want a copy of Psycho Sal, hit me up right there, because this is exclusive to me. They are out there in the world as well, but this is the cover I did for Psycho Sal number 3, William Russell Psycho Sal number 3, right there. And homage to Mr. And I just went blank, and that's horrible, because Kemp, Dan Kemp, he did the color work for this. I've got the original black and white hanging up back over there. But he killed the colors on this, Mr. Dan Kemp with Kemp Studios. Very awesome group of people right there, and they do some killer artwork or color work for the industry as well. So just to know these guys and have them work on my projects as well is a testament uh, to them as well, because um, they work in Image Comics and Marvel Comics and things like that. So they work on color for Spawn and uh, many others uh, out there in the industry. So a lot of independent stuff as well. Uh, They do a lot of William Russell color, and so if you're looking for a colorist for your own comic book or prints as well, hit them up. Dave and Dan Kemp out of Kemp Studios. I think they are in Tennessee. No, I could be wrong. I'm wrong. I'm not even going to tell you what state they're in because I can't remember off the top of my head. Because before I thought they were in like another state, and then I saw where they were from, or thought I remember where I saw that they were from, and I can't pull it up in my brain right now. Thanks, 2 hours of sleep. Roy, are you lathering up that Pop Tart with mayonnaise right now? Is that why you're not talking, or are you sitting there doing some corn work? Oh lordy. So how are you guys doing out there that are sitting here watching? How are you guys? How are you guys? Lots and lots of stuff is happening here. Like I said, we're doing all kinds of stuff on a regular basis. Gil Gerard, I saw he passed away. Buck Rogers in the 25th century. Uh, Sad times for that. Again, we lost a lot of voice actors here not too long ago. Within 2 days, they lost like three or four voice actors. Uh, Marge Simpson being one of the voice actors that passed away. So, but just lots of passings going on, and then you got the whole Rob Reiner situation where his son uh, took his parents off the planet. You know, they were supposed to have an arraignment on him yesterday, but they said he was still going through mental checks, so he couldn't make it to the arraignment, to the trial, pre-screening trial or whatever it was. So lots of things happening out there in the world. I found out a friend of mine passed away as well. Um, Really good dude, really young dude. Had a brain tumor, and they went in, operated on him, and once they got in there, his wife said that they found a lot worse than what the MRI showed. So they did the surgery, and he ended up passing away after the surgery was complete. And they thought he was going to make a recovery, but he ended up passing away, and that was like 2 days ago. So I just found that out yesterday. But so many people, so check on your people, check on your friends, check on your loved ones, uh, check on people that you see that are putting up hurting posts on Facebook or TikTok or things of that nature. Now I know some people out there are always seeming like they're in trouble, of financial distress or this, that, or the other, and it's just like I don't know what to say to you, you know, because every post that you post is a negative post about how you're in financial distress, even though you have a job and you're in a good field. So why are you in financial distress whenever you are making, more money than most people that are watching the show or whatever? And and so every post is a negative post about I'm needing this, I'm getting ready to sell the last of my this or the last of my that or whatever. And I get people get down on their luck and things like that. I've been there, and luckily I had some military brethren to uh, come in, grab me by the shoestrings, and lift me up, you know. And so, but not everybody has that support. Now, um, there are places that you can get support, especially right now. The holidays are hard for some people, you know, just because, um, you know, like some people have just lost parents or brothers or sisters or whatever for the holidays, and so the holidays just literally aren't the same. And welcome, ballerina. Welcome to the show. Haven't seen you in a little bit. And good morning. And so the holidays just hit harder for some people, especially whenever they have a recent loss. You know, so we don't know what everybody's going through. For the holiday seasons. So that's where the saying "just be kind" comes into play because again, you don't know. my situation. You don't know. I don't know your situation. Who's out here watching right now? You know. But if you need to talk, you can hit my DMs and we'll talk. You know. Now, if you're looking for money, you might as well go find one of those billionaires that have a TikTok and hit them up because I couldn't help you out right now to save my life. you know. So, but um, and it's like you don't know people's situations out there, so just be kind. Kindness is pretty easy, and I know some people make it difficult to be kind. That's why I had the job I had up until the end of 2022. I'm a surviving sibling. Lost my only brother in October of '99. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, and I get how holidays are. It was the same way when my son passed away back in 2009. You know, that 3 year stretch in there. And let me just give you a backstory for those of you that are here. In 2008, my sister was killed by a drunk driver. 2009, my son died in an ATV accident. In 2010, my grandfather passed away, and that was all within less than a year apart from each other. And you know, so that was a rough 3 year stretch in our family. Now we'd seen loss because my great grandmother passed in '95 at the age of 95, and then many of my aunts and uncles have all passed away. I have no grandparents left. I only have one aunt left that I know of. I've got a lot of half brothers and sisters that are out there from my dad's second marriage. Um, One actually lives in Alaska, and I want to go visit her for a little while. So, I feel for you. I've got a brother left. That's all I've got left. And he's 64, 65, somewhere in that range. And, um, he's an old fart. So I'm not too far behind him, at 54 years old right now. And then 55 next year. So, but I'm looking forward to the time because I've been given 54 years of life, you know, and I try to live it to the fullest, especially now, knowing that you're over half a century years old, and I'm a disabled veteran, and so I'm going to live life to the fullest. You know, if if I wanted to sell all my worldly possessions right here and just travel, you know, see how far that gets me for a while. Um, an RV, you can find RVs out there on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, for next to nothing that only need a little bit of work. So, um, those are just options that are flowing through my head. The second Sunday in December is the Compassionate Friends Candlelight Service. Oh, very cool. I did not know that. So that would have been last week, the 14th. So now I'll try to remember that. I doubt I'll remember it, but that's good to know. You know that there is a Compassionate Friends Candlelight Service, and um, I'm going to assume that's at a church because some people don't go to church, on here. And I'm not saying they're not religious or anything like that, but some people just avoid church like the plague. So it's an international group. Oh, okay. For parents that have lost children. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I did not know about that. So that's cool. So I'm guessing that would be online then. So, but yeah, no, losing a child is never the easiest, period. Um, because as it goes, they're the ones that are supposed to be burying you, not vice versa. So, and so I do not wish that upon anybody. And if anybody on here that is watching now has gone through it, you can talk to me about it. Some are held at various venues throughout this. Okay, okay. See, a lot of information that I had no clue on. So I appreciate the knowledge that you have in that regard because that's awesome. So, but yeah, there was a guy, I think it was Derek, that was on here who had lost a child pretty recently, and so they were pretty torn up about that. And I talked to him for a while, and we got pretty heavy here on the show um, with the talk that went on, you know. And so there is a number out there, which I son of a dog biscuit, I did not change it over there. But 988 is a number for a prevention hotline. If you need to talk to somebody, you can go there, or you can hit my DMs. Literally, if you need to talk about anything in life, hit me up. I've probably been there, done that in some form, fashion, or another. Um, but I'm always open to talk. That's how I've made some connections through here uh, with people, several different people through Facebook and or TikTok that have hit that wall of losing a child or losing a sibling or those type things. And it's just like I can talk on all of it. I can talk from the parent side, I can talk from the sibling side, and I can talk from losing a child side because I've lost it. My dad, I've lost my son, I've lost my sister, and grandparents. They're going to come and go depending on their age. Now, all of mine, pretty much all of my grandparents and great grandparents died of old age. Um, so that's our tragic lot in life. You know, never lost a child, but saw what my parents went through. Absolutely, it tears people apart and it tears them up as well. Um, and so yeah, it's never a great thing to see somebody struggling through that aspect. I've got another friend that I went to high school with. She didn't graduate with me. She actually transferred to another school, but we've kept in contact ever since. And she's a great person, married to a great guy. And she lost her son to, unfortunately, schmuicide. You know, you can't technically say the word. That's why I couldn't say the schmuicide prevention hotline because then I get another restriction because oh, you said one word in there that that's what your whole platform is about. No, that's not what the whole platform is about. And we talk, semi regularly. She was struggling pretty hardcore um, with it, and so we would talk about the whole situation. And if you've never lost a child ever, you know, people are going to try to sympathize with you and try to use the right words and things like that. Just don't. I'm just coming from a parent that lost a child, and if you've never lost a child, don't try to be compassionate to them because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know how many times they want to end their existence. Um, and so just be kind. That's the best thing you can do. Don't try to offer advice. Don't try to, say, I know what you're going through unless you 100% know what they're going through. Don't start that shit, you know? And because that's some of the worst stuff you can say to a grieving parent when they've lost a child. And it doesn't matter if it is from a miscarriage or, you know, um, exactly. Never tell someone you'll get over it. And that's a lot of people's advice. Oh, you'll get over it eventually. No, you don't. You cope with it differently as you go through life, but you never get over it because I can bring back the memory just like that in a heartbeat. I can tell you exactly where I was, exactly what happened, to the point where I went to the funeral home after he was transported from the hospital to the funeral home, and not a pretty sight. Let's just put it that way. Um, Not the way you want to remember your child. And yeah, what she just said, what Ballerina just said, never tell someone that they'll get over it. That's one of the worst things you can say to somebody because it's not true. Again, you cope with it differently, you handle it differently, but at any given point in time, a TV show could remind you of your loved one that passed away. Um, I'm sorry to hear that. Sean passed away on our mother's birthday. That's tough, especially because now that memory of the birthday is associated with that memory, of the passing, and so that's never a good correlation. Uh, that's like I was going through a divorce with my first ex-wife, and they wanted us to go sign the divorce papers on his birthday, which would have been July 8th. And it was just like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. And so, oh yeah, you can't watch American Graffiti. Understandable. And there's a lot of things like, you know, I see and I've seen since my son's passing in 2009. Like there was one time I was sitting at a restaurant and somebody moved past the window that had his mannerisms, had his walk down, had his height, his build, and I was like, "Hey, that's," and I had to stop myself because it was like, "No, that's not him. There's no way that that's him." You know, I've tried and completely lost it 5 minutes in. Yeah, yeah. Don't just mark that movie off your list and move on to something else because there's there's never going to be a way that you can watch it without the memories coming back, flooding in. And I get that way with certain movies and things like that, especially those that have um, the loss of a son, you know, at any stage of life. I'll get in those and I'll get all teared up, you know, um, and be like, yeah, this isn't cool. I've got to either fast forward past this part and get to what's coming, or just stop it altogether. So, and then there's music choices, like if um, crap, I'm drawing a blank right this second. Um, Dang, it was one of his favorite bands too. Um, I'll think of it here in a little bit. But if they come on the radio, I have to change it. You know, it's like um, because he played that on a regular basis, and you could hear it coming out of the bedroom or in the car and things like that. And so it's just like, no, I gotta change that one. And it's just like my girlfriend, her brother passed away too, and she can't listen to certain things like any Metallica stuff right now or Ozzy Osbourne, certain songs. She's like, no, we gotta change that. And I was like, not a problem, changing, those type things. So, but I get it, and it's smells, it's visuals, it's movies, it's TV shows, it's music. Every little thing can bring back the memories that quick, you know. And then you're like, I'm gonna call them up, and then it's just like, oh, I can't, you know. And it's just like with our son. Um, Hers was just roughly 2 years ago now, I think, if I remember correctly. Um, I'm trying to remember the exact time frame, but I want to say it was 2 years ago. So, um, so yeah, there's still a lot of stuff that she can't listen um, to this day. I mean, she's getting better with it as of this year. So, and it was cancer that took him, and cancer is, the one thing that I'm pretty sure we've got a cure for, but they're just not releasing it because they want people sick. It's just my conspiracy mind, you know. There's a lot of things we have cures for because there's a lot of man-made diseases, that happen. Or why else would you have a patent on certain diseases out there? A patent number, and you can look that up. You can find some patent numbers on some diseases. So, and but yeah, no, just anything, you know, can bring back those memories, lickety split, and and it's just crazy. So, but again, you never get over it, And someone said something derogatory out there. Some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience. So yeah, just rephrase what you said and go from there. So, but yeah, no, it is. Yes, yes, and I guess you couldn't say that word, but yet you can say it. You just can't type it in, I guess. And but yeah, no, there's the world is becoming a crazy, crazy place. You know, and oh, it's okay. It's okay, ballerina. There's a lot of things that I get in trouble for on my own show, that I can't say certain things, um, especially with my own artwork. I can't talk about certain things about that. Otherwise, I get a restriction and my reach just goes way down, because they've restricted the views. And that's just TikTok in their infinite wisdom. They know best for everybody, but yet there's buttholes floating around on TikTok, and then you've got these blurred screens where people are having, you know, uh, course out there, and all kinds of different things. So, malignancy isn't common in neurofibromatosis. I hope I didn't butcher that too bad. Um, yeah, and there's still a lot that we don't know about it, but I still think there's a cure for it, and they're just not releasing it to the public. Okay, good. I had to sound out. Like you're supposed to, like you were taught as a child. You sound things out. You get to the root of the word by what it is. So I'm glad I said it right. But no, lots of things, you know, can be helped, but there's a lot of things that can't. So, um, well, you're smarter than the rest of us. I probably would have still been fumbling on that word at 7 because I had crayons in hand and I was coloring stuff. I was making my own artwork. I wasn't worried about words then. No, I just didn't like school. That was just me. I did just enough to get by. Didn't have any failing grades. C's, B's, and A's. You know, and but had I applied myself a little more in school, you know, maybe I would have changed the little circumstances in my life growing up. LOL. I've always been a nerd, but a pretty nerd. See, there you go. You got it all going for you. Your husband, boyfriend, or whatever you've got in your life. I don't know what you've got in your life. Um, it is a lucky person then. He's got the smart ass on his hands, but she looks good doing it. So there you go. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, dogs and a roommate. Well, there you go. I mean, you know, it could be worse. You could not have the dogs, I guess. Hey, I've got pigs. I've got dogs, cats, and a girlfriend. So um, and we're trying to get the pigs permanently outside right now, but that's going coming a little bit slower because the big chicken coop is almost ready to house all the chickens and birds in right now, and we have a cat too. Unfortunately, I've got three. One came with the house when I moved in almost 4 years ago now, and no livestock allowed here. Well, I live in the country S setting, so I've got a homestead. I've got chickens, I've got ducks, I've got geese, and then I've got pigs. So the pigs are indoor outdoor right now. We're getting ready to transfer them outside into where the chickens are being housed currently for the winter time, because their old coop is just not suitable for winter, and so this is just a better option for them. That we once we filled in all the holes and stuff like that, and so once we get the main chicken coop built and ready, which shouldn't be much longer. I've just got a few more things to do to it. Um, Then at that point in time, we can move the pigs into where the chicken coop is currently, and then move the chickens and the birds and stuff all over to the other one until we get the pond section uh, set up so that the geese and the ducks have a bigger pond to swim in. We have a koi pond right now that's probably 4.5 foot deep, you know. So, well, I appreciate it. This is my artwork. Hit me up in the DMs and we'll talk. I'm Cajun. Most of my ancestors were homesteaders. See, that's awesome. No, they won't, buddy. No, they won't. They'll still get their opportunity to come inside. Yes, this is my artwork right here. Yes. As well as any of these right here that you want to get. These are based off of my artwork. Here, let's just do this. Reminds me of the old NXS song where they're flipping through. Chester Bennington, Ivan Moody, Five Finger Death Punch. Not right now. I do have some that can be transferred over to shirts. I can show you some designs on those. That's Howard the Duck from Marvel. Of course, Dexter. Art the Clown. The one I'm wearing in yellow and in black. Wonder Woman. This is part of my Naughty Nuns, My Bad Habits series. I've got 3 different ones on that. Well, I appreciate that. That's Mitsuri from Demon Slayer. Of course, Bishop. The Raging Cajun, Gambit. So you need that one, Ballerina. And then a Doctor Doom. And then we're going to finish it out with my Alice in Wonderland take with the Mad Hatter behind her. Of course, she is topless. She didn't want to get the drink on her when she drank the drink. So, how can you not? I mean, you have to. But yeah, no, you can hit me up, Big Bear, and we'll talk. I can't speak too much about it right here, or TikTok will restrict me. So just hit me up in DMs, or I'll hit you up either way, and we can talk. I do have some Batman um, that I can transfer over into shirt form as well. So just because I don't sell on the TikTok shop, they try to restrict me whenever I talk about that type of stuff on the platform. It's happened to me like 4 different times, and I don't stop. So, but yeah, no, that's what I do. I'm an illustrator. Um, I've got all kinds of artwork available at this present juncture. I've got 3 different portfolios down here at my feet. I've got paintings all over the place, including this Joker right here. This painting is up for sale right there, as well as some of the other ones that you saw on shirt form. Um, Sweet, awesome, and I will definitely follow you back. So don't worry about that. Anybody that follows me, unless they only have like one or no pictures in their profile section and their area, generally I will follow back. But you're talking, you're a real person. You have to discern sometimes who's real and who's not on these platforms. So because there are a lot of spam accounts out there, which is unfortunate that they don't get taken down immediately, you know, but it is what it is, and that's the platform's fault, for letting in all these spam accounts on a regular basis. So, and we could go into a whole discussion on that one. Yes, absolutely. I got all kinds of Batman stuff, in here because I'm a big Batman fan, and so I do have artwork, and I've got uh, pieces of artwork all over the place from Ken Hunt and another friend of mine right over there. You can't see it, but it's in that little corner up there. Um, that little section. Put my finger right there, next to my Mister Fix It and Weapon X. original art pieces up there. And then over here, I've got my superpowers, the newer versions, the McFarlanes. I do. It's been a while. This was my rebuild year, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be going to any conventions next year or not. Because I'm trying to rebuild all of my stuff, which is the T-shirts, which is new prints and new canvas prints, 16 by 20 canvas prints, and the regular 11 by 17 cardstock prints of the same stuff. So anything that I'm going to have in a shirt form is going to be in those two options as well. 16 by 20 canvas print and a 11 by 17 cardstock print. So I'm revamping everything, and I just haven't got where I want to be. So I am looking at a potential return the end of 26, possibly 27. It just depends. So yeah, see, I would love to go to some of those bigger ones like that, um, because the ones I go to, they're good and they're okay. Like the San Antonio show, the Space Con, pretty awesome show. Did well there. Um, and I did well at a few other ones, but I want to get into some of those bigger ones. But that's where I'm needing my sponsorships in place. So I'm trying to get a sponsor right now, um, so that they can take care of my booth cost. That's the biggest problem is the booth cost, especially at the bigger shows where you're spending like $500 to $800 per table, and I need two tables. So I'm looking at $1,000 to potentially, upwards of 1,600 bucks, you know, just to get the two tables that I need to spread out my artwork on. Especially now that I'm going to have a new format with canvas prints and things of that nature. So you've got to have a double space. Um, and so, if I can get my sponsorship in place, then that's what I'm looking for and looking forward to, because they can offset that cost where I'm not already in the hole, and absolutely manifesting it together. And I know there's some benefactors out there, and I've got one that is willing and ready to do things, but he's a little on the injured side right now. So I have to wait for him to recoup. So we still have to talk about the logistics of it all when it comes to that. So, but I do know, like you said, manifesting it together, that there are some big name players out there that do flash by my show that would be able to help out in that regards. Um, just like the sponsors that go for the FLW and PBR, and you see all of the different logos on all their stuff. There would be logos all over my stuff if I had plenty of you know sponsors coming at me, and that's what I'm looking for. And I'm not shy to say it. I'm looking for sponsors. So, and I do get sponsors, and and people getting stuff from me, you know, and that's a sponsor in and of itself. But the sponsors I'm talking about are the ones that I can put their logo, and I know some of them don't want their logo posted, like the one guy I'm talking about. He wants to remain anonymous in it all, which is totally fine. But there are some that want their logos on everything, and I'd be cool with that. My new table banners would have your logo on it. Those type things. So if you are watching this and you want to sponsor stuff like this, going to conventions again, hit me up. I hear you, brother. I hear you, brother. And it can be tough. And I'm sure there are people that as well that could sponsor your stuff, your show. You know, and just keep it up. Like, manifest for you too, because if you have an online store, maybe we can make an ad and help you. I got you. I got you. I do have my website, which is with my. I'm not sure if that's where my profile is for you guys or not, but that's where it is for me. Is right up here in this corner, and that's where I always point. But yeah, go for it, and we'll talk. There's lots of things that we can help each other out with, and go from there. And see, that's connection, and that is you know helping each other out, and that's what it's all supposed to be about, is being able to find your people, and you guys are finding me. you know, so But all right, I'm hearing some aminals move around, so I'm going to have to take care of them. I do appreciate each and everybody being here. Big Bear Radio, we will talk, and we'll go from there. And again, on all kinds of different aspects and angles. So my motto is raise the vibe, raise the tribe. There you go. Yup. Monty's awesome, dude. Have a good day. Well, as I like to say, as I'm getting out of here, is we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.